The information presented in this virtual exercise program is current as of June 2022. This programming may involve diverse exercise activities encompassing a range of physical demands. Although the programming is being led by certified practitioners in the respective disciplines, you agree that you are voluntarily accepting the risks of physical activity that may be particular to your individual health and fitness circumstances, and you agree that we will not be held liable for these risks or any injuries or damages arising therefrom. Further, we are unable to monitor your health status during the programming or call for medical attention on your behalf. By participating, you warrant that you are physically capable of performing the activities of the particular program and that you will cease the activities should you begin to feel unwell at any time. The information provided by the exercise program leaders is not intended to be medical advice or personal training. We recommend that each participant discuss their medical circumstances and the programming with their physician.
Welcome to the Kidney Wellness Hub. I am so glad you could join us today. My name is Brenda Brown, and today we'll be practicing Yin Yoga. It'll be approximately 30 minutes long. One thing to keep in mind with Yin before we get started is it's different than traditional Hatha Yoga or any of your movement yogas in the way that will not be engaging our muscles or trying not to engage the muscle as much as releasing the fascia muscle or the fascia tissue. The fascia is really, if you think about it, it's like a saran wrap that surrounds everything in our bodies. So it surrounds our organs, our muscles, our bones, and it needs to be released in order to allow for better movement and better mobility between our joints and between our muscles. So in a Yin practice, that's what we're trying to do, is trying to release the fascia in each of the poses. So we'll be holding them a little bit longer. And it may seem a little bit uncomfortable at times. So the other principal practice in Yin is to overcome the thoughts that are happening through your mind at the time and just releasing slowly into the pose and then pulling back out of it as it becomes too intense and then releasing back into it again, but trying to find stillness within that pose at the same time. Okay, so now we'll get started. We'll move into child's pose initially for our first pose of the day. And that can be either with your knees together, if that's most comfortable for you, or with your knees apart and toes touching behind so that your hips are a little bit wider and provide a little bit more space for your body. And so we'll just come into our child's pose and we'll get ourselves grounded. And allow your arms to either come out in front of you or down behind you, whichever is most comfortable for you. And then, or you can stack your forehead on top of your hands. And just breathe here in your child's pose. Inhale deeply and exhale. And with each exhale, just allow yourself to release and sink a little bit deeper towards the mat. Feeling your back body stretch and release down towards your toes, your feet. Just allow your arms to relax. Don't hold any tension or trying to tighten any muscle energy in there. Just allow them to release. While we're finding ourselves feeling grounded in this position and releasing ourselves to the mat a little bit further with each exhale, maybe you want to set an intention for the day or for your practice, or something you want to be coming back to every time that you start feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to set my intention for this morning in gratitude. Try to release any of the muscle tension you're holding in around your shoulders and let them release a little bit further into the mat. Your heart is heavy and light at the same time, moving and releasing closer to the mat. Now we'll come up to all fours. We're just going to get a little bit of movement going just so we can warm up our body before we start moving into the bigger yin positions. So just go into tabletop for a minute with your hands stacked underneath your shoulders, knees underneath hips. You can have your toes tucked or untucked, whichever is most comfortable for you. And then we're just going to do a couple of rounds of cat-cow to open up our spine. So inhale to cow and exhale to cat. Really sort of feel that energy moving through your spine and just waking it up a little bit. Might want to take a little bit of hip movements in here. We're going to step our hands a little bit further forward and just do a couple of hip circles. So coming around to the front, all the way through the front, down to the right, all the way back to your heels as far as you can go. And just take a couple of big circles with your hips and your back body. Just again, trying to warm it up. Do one more to this side. And then we'll switch and go the other way. Okay, now we're trying to come to stillness. Back to your tabletop. And then we're just going to do just one down dog, just again to try and release some of that energy through the back body. Pushing the earth away from you with your hands and pushing down with your heels towards the mat. Feeling that energy through your arms and your back body. And again, just waking it up a little bit before we get really into the yin poses. And we'll come right back down onto our hands and knees. And then we're going to turn around and do a toe stretch. So make sure that you are in a squat type position on your knees above hips. And then just untuck your baby toe so that it's also getting some of the love and attention of your toes. Bring your heels as close together as feels comfortable for you. Again, just making sure those baby toes are sticking out, not and underneath. And then just sit back onto your heels and allow your bottom half of your body to sink towards your feet and your mat. Release your shoulders down your back. You can put your hands on your thighs or into Angelina Mudra, prayer position, whichever is most comfortable for you this morning. We're going to be here for a few minutes, so allow your breath to lead you. Whenever it starts getting a little bit uncomfortable, just sort of exhale into where that discomfort is. Keep breathing into that, to your toes, into your thighs, up through your belly. I find it helps a lot sometimes when I'm doing yin in particular to focus on the inward part of your body and trying to release the muscles and release the energy, is to close your eyes or find a nice focal point in front of you that you can soften your gaze. Okay, 30 more seconds. Really inhaling down into wherever that discomfort might be for you or where those thoughts are leading you. And now we'll release. Give your toes a shake. Let them stretch out. Okay, we're going to come into a seated butterfly position. So this means bringing your feet, or your soles of your feet together, allowing your knees to fall outwards towards either side, trying to keep your body upright at the beginning. And you can have the feet out as far as you want to create a diamond pose if that's most comfortable for you, or find some blocks or pillows to put underneath your knees if you want some support, or you can bring them in as close as you want to your body as well. So I'm just sitting tall in your seat. You can hang onto your feet with your hands, or you can put them on either side of your legs, or again, into prayer position, whichever is the most comfortable for you. And again, we're going to be hanging out here for a few minutes. So just make sure that you're breathing into wherever that uncomfortable spot is. If I could speak this morning, would be fine. The uncomfortable position is, and just breathe into that with each exhale. And this might be as deep as you want to be able to go, but you can, if this is in your practice or in your ability or desire to go, you can bend and hinge from your waist and start coming down with each exhale a little bit further. And then finding that edge that is right for you. And then holding that position. But again, we're not holding on to the muscles as we would in a traditional hatha practice. We're actually letting our arms go limp as much as possible. We're really just trying to release the fascia tissue that's holding around the back of our spine and around our hips. Trying to envision our knees getting heavier down either side, reaching further towards the floor. Remember, your breath is your friend, so keep continuing to inhale deeply and exhale. Fill up your whole back body with your inhalation. Now, if you're in a forward fold position, as I am right now, you can slowly use your hands to help push you back out of it. Once we're back up with a tall spine, take a large inhale and sigh it out. One more time. Okay, take one leg out far in front of you and out to the side. So we're going to do a half butterfly. So that was a butterfly, and this will be a half butterfly. You can just kind of loosen your leg up. Try not to hold, as we would normally with our feet in a flux position, and just allow them to release and sort of turn your hip towards the right. And again, we're going to be trying to release ourselves down towards our leg. You can do this in a number of ways by taking an inhale and then slowly exhaling and twisting towards that side and allowing your arms and your hands to come down along the side of your legs. And this, this might be enough for you to be up in this tall position, or you may want to get a bolster or a cushion underneath your head to help prop it up, or you can put wrap up a towel underneath your knee if your knee is giving you any kind of grief, just to bring it up a little bit closer. But the intention here is really to feel this side back body start releasing some of the tissue and the tension that's being held in there. And if you want to open up, give it a little bit more of a stretch. Then just try and settle down into this position. Get yourself comfortable. And again, finding that edge where there's a little bit of sensation but not pain. If you feel pain, back off to adjust where that edge for you is. As you sit here in your pose, in your position, you'll realize it over a little bit of time, and that's why Yin we sort of add more time to the poses, is that you will be able to release a little bit deeper with each of those exhalations, because you're releasing that fascia tissue and being able to give it some space and creating space in your body. Take a big inhale and exhale. And then slowly use your hands to help walk you back up into a tall spine. Roll your shoulders back. And we'll switch legs. Left leg goes out wide. And your right leg, it can come in as far as mine is, or it might only come in this way, whichever's, everybody's body is different, and we're gonna have different mobility and flexibility. And over time with practice, we start having a little bit more flexibility and a lot more strength, and that's the point of the yoga. So again, just take your inhale and slowly start. If you did released on the right side, try and release down on the left side. If you stayed up and just allow this position to settle in your with your hips, that's fine as well. But if you did try and go down on your right side, try and balance it out by going down on the left. And it'll be different. You may not have the same sort of flexibility or mobility on the left side, and that'll be a lot based on how your right hip and right lower back is cooperating with you today. Whatever your intention was that you said at the beginning of the practice, you can always call upon that as well as your breath to help you move a little bit deeper into the pose. And if your mind starts to wander or get distracted, then come back to that intention or come back to the breath. Just a little bit longer, another 30 seconds or so on this side. Now use your hands to help walk you back up into your seated position. Take a large inhale and roll your shoulders back and down away from your ears. And take both legs out in front of you, just give them a little bit of a shake before we move into our next pose. Okay, so for this next one, we're gonna go into hero pose. So we want to have our feet out a little bit wider than hip width apart so that we're coming down and we're sitting between our feet and our heels. And so you want to be able, if you can't come all the way down, you may want to put a pillow or a block or something underneath you just to make sure that you're comfortable. And then you can also bring your legs out a little bit further if you like, away from your body. Whichever is most comfortable to provide the space that you need for your knees as well as for your hips and your feet, making sure that you're comfortable as you get seated into this position. Take a deep breath here. We're going to add eagle arms into this position while we're sitting here. So you're going to take your left arm out in front of you and then your right arm underneath and then wrap them around in front and then raise them up so that your shoulders are a bit higher. Your elbows are reaching towards being parallel with your lower thighs. And then just breathe into this. If this is too much or too intense on your shoulders, then you can just release them and just hold on to your arms out in front of you like this. If you have any kind of shoulder injury, you don't want to pull or do any damage to that shoulder tissue. But this will really get into the fascia between your shoulder blades. Again, with each exhale, you might be able to raise your elbows a little bit higher. Just working with the breath in your body. Imagining that saran wrap and it's sort of around your body, around the back body right now, the upper shoulders. Just sort of releasing a little bit, not being stretched so tight, but just releasing between the shoulder blades. Visualize what's happening with the fascia when you're in this position. We're going to release the arms and switch them so that the left arm comes underneath and the right goes over top. And again, depending on what your shoulder capability or mobility is like, this might be a bit challenging for you. If you've got a right rotator cuff position, issue or something, you might want to be more gentle and more kind to yourself. You can always bring the pose down a little bit lower. It'll release some of the tension down around your shoulders. Release your arms out in front, give them a little bit of a stretch. Roll your shoulders down around your back. Take a large inhale, deep all the way down into your belly, and then exhale with a really big sigh. And one more time. Okay, we're get ready for our next position. We're going to move down towards our back, but in this position, you're going to get all the way, scooch down onto your lower back, all the way so your shoulders are secure on the mat as well. And your head, maybe just bring your knees up for a minute here. Just release some of the tension that might have been held into your lower back. Do a pelvic tilt. Just sort of releasing some of that tension that you might have held in your back, making sure that your chin is being parallel to the ground. You're not sticking it way up into the sky. Trying to keep a neutral position in your neck and with your spine. So we're going to take our right leg long and our left leg up and bend it and use your hand as a guide to come over towards the opposite side. So you're taking a bit of a twist here, but trying to maintain still that your shoulder is as close to the ground as possible. And then you're going to take that leg that's underneath and grab the foot. And then you can keep your head either in a neutral position or turn it opposite towards where your foot is. This position is called cat pulling its tail. So your hips are being opened up, your knees and your legs are all being, releasing some of that additional tissue. If you want, you can put a block or a cushion underneath your knee. But the idea is to try and get that leg over to the other side with each exhale. And just feel the breath through your side body again and it right down into your belly. If you have trouble with your reaching your foot as well, I should have mentioned it, you could take a towel or a strap and help pull it towards your body, give your arm's length. I know just to help bring that your foot a little bit closer to your hands. Twists like this are really good for the organs, releasing tension and energy in the organs. And then when we're doing it in a yin practice, where we're really trying to not hold on to the muscle energy as much as releasing some of the fascia, it's also really good for the organs because the fascia also goes around all of our organs. I'm thinking about my intention right now because as I find discomfort, I'm trying to find the gratitude in the discomfort at the same time, because at least I'm able to feel that sensation, but then releasing it. And so I'm grateful that my body is being able to do this for me today. And whatever that might look like for you. It doesn't have to be this exact same position. It's just being able to move that hip over. If you want to keep your this leg long, instead of bringing it out behind you, that's just as well. You're still releasing the fascia tissue in around the hip, and the thighs, and the shoulders. I always feel like I'm kind of a rag being wrung out in this position, which is an interesting visual. Each exhale, you can feel your ribs releasing a little bit more. Take a big deep inhale all the way down to the bottom of your belly into your diaphragm. And then exhale. One more time. And exhale. And we'll slowly unwind by bringing that left leg back up into its bent knee position on the floor, and have the right leg come out beside it and to meet it. Straighten our back out a little bit, and again you might want to do a couple of pelvic tilts just to release some of the tension you might have been holding in your lower back. And we'll get ready to move to the other side. So your left leg goes long, your right knee comes up, and you'll start to guide it over to the left side. And then your left leg comes up behind you. And again, this may be a different, may take a little bit longer to sort of work your way into this position on one side versus the other. Each side of our body works differently. And again, depending on whether or not we're right-handed or left-handed, where our strengths might be, where our flexibility is, how our hips are holding tension. There's all kinds of factors that come into play. So once you've gotten yourself into the position that feels most comfortable on this side, we'll start to focus and release, begin to start releasing the muscle energy, and make sure that we're focusing on the fascia and not holding on to any muscle tension that might have helped get us into the position in the first place. So in this position, we're focusing on a number of different areas, and depending on where your edge is and where you're feeling the most tension, you'll want to breathe into that area. So if it's into your hip and you're trying to release this thigh a little bit closer down towards the ground, or if it's in your shoulder and you want to be able to release the shoulder further towards the ground, or if it's in the twist itself in your abdomen, try and bring some length or some space into it. It's normal to try and fidget in each of these different yin positions as well, trying to find the most point of comfort. But getting to the point of edge of discomfort and trying to work through it is really what we're after in these types of poses. So be sure to use your breath to help you through some of that point of discomfort. Take a big inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Inhale all the way down into the bottom of your belly. And exhale. And then slowly unwind ourselves with our top knee coming over. And bring our knees together. Well, just for a second here, just put your feet out as wide as the mat and let your knees knock in towards each other into teepee pose. Allow your arms to hang loose, shoulders loosen up on the back of the mat. And just reground yourself, come back to your intention. Okay, let's bring our legs long on the mat. And then we're gonna do a banana pose. So move your feet slowly towards the right corner, and then we'll also move our upper body towards the right corner so that we're in a sort of a C or a banana shape on the right hand side. We can feel this long stretch on our left hand side and also a compression of sorts on the right hand hip. Again, just don't hold any tension in your feet. Just breathe into those hip sockets. You might be able to move your feet a little bit more into the C or banana position. Get a little bit deeper into that pose. Just take a scan of your body from the top of your head, feeling where it's at right now. Down through your shoulders, are they feeling loose, or are you holding tension in around your ears? Down your spine, into your hips. Breathe that exhalation out through those hip sockets. And then scan over your thighs. Are you feeling some looseness in there? Are you holding on to unnecessary tension and energy? Over your knees into your calves and your shins, down into your feet, and wiggle your toes a little bit. Take a big inhale, pause, and then exhale with a sigh. And then we'll slowly bring our feet back and our head back into a straight neutral position on the mat. Maybe shake your legs out a little bit, roll a little bit from side to side, loosen up those hips as we get ready to prepare to go to the other side. So on the left side, we're going to walk our feet out towards the left corner of our mat, making that sort of curved shape, and then having our upper body curving around to meet it. So banana. Sort of trying to visualize yourself like a banana. Just a slight curve in here. And feeling that longer stretch on the outside. And if you need a little bit more, then move your body a little bit deeper. And this side's going to feel different than the other. Again, depending on where you're holding your tension in those hips, sometimes it's your right hip over your left hip is a little bit more tense than the other. Or it could be in your upper thighs that you want to try and release. Let them go towards the ground, keeping your shoulders flat on the mat. We're breathing deeply into that side body. We'll do that body scan again on this side, so we can start this time though from the bottoms of our feet, from our toes. Making sure that we're releasing any tension over our calves and through our shins. Releasing those thighs towards the ground, not holding on to any of the muscle energy, just allowing them to release. Then breathing deeply into the hip sockets. Feeling what energy might be created there that we need to let go of. Allowing us to release a little bit deeper onto the mat and into the ground. And then breathing into our ribs and up through our abdomen. Heavy up over our chest, into our neck. Scan up into our head and our eyes. Maybe we need to release some tension around our eyes and our jaw. Move your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Inhale, and then exhale with a sigh. One more time. slowly walk our feet back to center, have our upper body go to mute, so we're in a neutral position. And then we'll get ourselves ready for Shavasana pose. So shake your body out whichever way you need to make sure that you release any unwanted tension or energy. Grab a pillow or socks or a blanket if that's what you need or what feels good for you during your Shavasana. You might want to give yourself a quick hug. Your knees into your body, head meets knee. And then we're just going to release and let our body slowly melt into the mat. Get rid of any of the unwanted tension that we want. And meet your Shavasana again with that intention that you might have started at the beginning of the practice. Allow the mat to meet you and support you in all your energy. And just melt. Start to bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe move your legs from side to side. Take your arms overhead, reach your toes like big long stretch. And then move to whichever side is most comfortable for you into a fetal position. Just roll to that one side. Take a breath or two here, again remembering your intention. Then use your upper arm and your hand to push you up into a comfortable seated position. When you're ready on your own time, there's no rush. Come back into your seated, comfortable position. Take a big inhale. Exhale with a sigh. I hope you enjoyed today's Yin Yoga class. Thanks again for joining us. I look forward to seeing you back here at the Kidney Wellness Hub soon. Don't forget to take the short wellness survey to help us continue to bring you valued added content. Namaste.
This video is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation of Canada, BC and Yukon branch. Please remember to like and subscribe. You can continue to watch another video or return to the Kidney Foundation Wellness Hub by clicking on the direct link in the description box below. If you would take a moment to fill out our short survey found below as well, we would greatly appreciate your input. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.